Welcome back to the reading corner here on Dreamers Defy. That's where we take a novel, we read it all the way through, one or two chapters at a time. Invite you to go ahead and go in the description, order your own copy, and you can read along with us. But other than that, we just get to it and have fun in the process. This way, if you don't really want to have to go and read it yourself, then you can just listen along as we do this. And this is the first book we're doing. This is called Vengeful. We are up to chapter 6. If this is your first time joining us, I would suggest you go back to the beginning and start there. That's usually a really good place. So today we're reading chapter 6 of Vengeful by AJ Parnell. Mick Rogers, a seasoned, no-nonsense detective in his early 50s, sifted through a large stack of bent, worn, and tattered files. Rogers looked over the brim of his reading glasses at Ramon Martinez, his zealous young partner, as Martinez navigated his way towards him through the overcrowded precinct. From the look on his young partner's face, Rogers could tell the news wasn't good. "Let me guess. Captain dumped the breaking and entering case into our laps." Martinez took a seat at his desk. "That would be correct." Rogers huffed. "Thought the guys in blue told him there were no client files or information stolen from the doc's office." It would appear those high-profile clients she has been seeing are in full panic mode, and they don't buy Davies' stories. So we've been instructed to look into the case and validate that there is nothing for those who shall not be named to worry about. Annoyed, Roger sat back in his chair. "Fine, okay. So currently there is no one that they have questioned who knows anything about anyone who might have broken in." Martinez tossed another manila folder onto Roger's desk. "Nope, and it gets better." "Oh?" Leaning in, Martinez smiled. "There is also no usable footage we can see during the time of the break-in." "The video was wiped?" Martinez gave a bitter laugh. "Oh no, it wasn't cleaned. There's plenty of footage." "Then what's the problem?" "After our guys down in surveillance spent the past 5 hours going over the footage, the only thing close to the time of the break-in were 2 minutes before and about 30 seconds after the suspected time of the breach. Other than that, the tape is a jumbled, unreadable mess." "So the footage was tampered with?" "Well, not by any means our guys can determine, but yeah, I'm thinking our guy had something to jam those cameras as he came and went to ensure that he wouldn't be identified." Rogers picked up a discarded folder and flipped it open. "If nothing of value was taken, no confidential files, then why take all the precautions? We have no fingerprints, no one saw anything, or anyone out of the ordinary. And now we have no video." "So you're saying her clients have something to worry about?" "Maybe. Could be as simple as the person who broke in didn't get what they wanted, or Miss Davies is lying to us about what was actually taken or the motive for the break-in." "Why would she lie?" Martinez scoffed. Rogers pushed his glasses back up the bridge of his nose and began to study the file. She may not be. I'm just thinking out loud." Impatient, Martinez stood up and straightened his tie. "Then where do we start? We have a lot of higher priority cases that need our attention, and I'd like to get this one knocked out." Taking a drink of coffee, Rogers looked up at Martinez. "I'd like to question the professor here at the local university." "The one Davies put on a restraining order?" "Yeah." "Do you really think he'd be dumb enough to do something like this?" "Maybe." Looking over at the clock, Martinez frowned. "Then we'll have to do it in the morning. It's after 8. Unmoved, Rogers snatched a different file and started reading. "Then I'll see you at 7 in the morning." Shaking his head, Martinez grabbed his jacket. "You need to get a life." "Night, Martinez." Resigned, Martinez's gaze went to his cluttered desk. Want me to go home, kid? I'll see you in the morning. Night. Martinez left, leaving Rogers alone with the files and his thoughts. Mood bright, head held high, Abigail strolled out of the office complex and onto the busy sidewalk. Things had gone even better than she had planned with the Wentworths. Not only did they want her to take over the care of their daughter, who she now had under observation at the enchantment facility, but they also asked her to begin counseling with their grandson, just to see that he was coping well with his mother's recent setback. With multiple family members under her care at the enchantment facility, this would make it easier for her to assess the family's well-being and would also put her in the good graces of the board of directors. This was important to ensure that Trisha's grievance would look petty and unsubstantiated. Trisha was extremely intelligent, and in many ways, Abigail admired her. But even though Trisha would like to be, she wasn't the absolute authority at the facility. At least not yet, anyway. From the beginning, Trisha had questioned Abigail's credentials and challenged her appointments at the enchantment facility. Maybe Trisha was upset about how easily Abigail acquired a position there. She met Administrator Kitcht at the Southwest Region's conference, and the two hit it off. Part of Abigail's gift was that she was good with people, especially men. But she wasn't going to apologize for that. Abigail knew how to use her strengths and how to build upon her weaknesses. Still, the situation with Trisha was frustrating, especially considering the friction came from a woman arguably prettier than she herself was. Even though Trisha was years older, she was lovely and admired in her chosen field. In another time and place, they could have been friends. Stepping up to the curb, Abigail cast a shy smile at the man beside her. As if on cue, the man straightened, reached over, and punched the button for the crosswalk. Proud of himself, the man nodded as he had done her a huge favor. Abigail politely said, "Thank you." The walk sign illuminated across the street, and Abigail continued into the waiting parking garage, leaving the bemused gentleman behind. Keys in hand, Abigail tapped the unlock button on her fob and watched the car lights flash as she approached. A loud clang sound behind her caused her to stop mid-step. Listening, she scanned her surroundings. "Hello?" Silence greeted Abigail. Hesitant, she began walking once more as an eerie echo sounded from her heels, clicking on the cold concrete. She cast a cautious glance behind her and breathed a sigh of relief when she found the empty space. Abigail reached for the metal latch on her door and startled when she caught sight of a man standing behind her in the window's reflection. Abigail spun around, a scream rising in her throat as she stumbled back against her vehicle. Heart pounding, Abigail exclaimed, "What the hell?" No one was there. Body trembling, Abigail stepped away from her car, her eyes searching the hollow, empty covering of the garage. From a distant, unobservable corner of the garage, the sound of paper scraping against stone echoed as a sudden gust of wind filtered through the large corridor. Unnerved, Abigail turned back to her car, yanked the door open, and slid into the driver's seat. Hand shaking, she stuck the key into the ignition. She was not the one to let her imagination get away from her, and she chided herself for allowing it now. Still, even for her, this had been a rather eventful day, and she had to admit that she had been rattled ever since she found out someone had broken into her office and stolen her precious mementos. Nevertheless, she had a pretty good idea of who had those things, and she sure as hell would be getting them back, one way or the other. Steeling her resolve, Abigail put on her seatbelt, adjusted the rearview mirror, turned the key, and smiled as the engine fired up. Ready to be free of this cave-like interior, she slammed the car into drive and peeled out of the parking lot, out of the garage, and back onto the street. into the light of day. This has been chapter 6 of Vengeful. It's really getting good. Join us for chapter 7 shortly.